Okay, so I'm gonna be making a thing in this video. So I'm recording myself, and then you can hear me make it. Yeah. So I have these blocks of wood that I got from a trade with a friend of mine, but I can't really use them as they are because they're too small. So I'm gonna make this really cool spiral with them, and I think it's gonna look really cool. So first, what I did was I took each individual block and then I glued them together to make it on that like checkerboard look. And now I'm just cutting it into like a bunch of pieces. Alright, so I need to do the mark. You do a mark on one side, you do a mark on the other side. That way, when you get in with the saw, you have two lines that you can use for reference to make sure that everything stays nice and flat. And yeah, I did that, and now I'm cutting in there. Man, that scar on my hand has gotten big. Yeah, so I'm just cutting it now. Cutty. I'm using a Japanese saw for this one because it cuts really thin. And what's nice about it is that once you get it started in a line, it stays in that line. So, like, if you're cutting straight, you will cut real straight. And if you cut skew, you'll cut real skew. So you gotta be careful with it, but if you get it right, it works so well. And it cuts through so nicely. Plus, there's like so little waste with it. So yeah, I'm just cutting, and then getting closer and closer. This is where I got a little bit scared because I don't want to damage the saw, and I was worried that it was gonna like grab the end of the vise. Luckily, it didn't do that, but those were the worries. All right, now that everything is cut, I'm gonna spend an embarrassing amount of time trying to like figure out the pattern that this is gonna go in. I ended up settling for a pattern where it'll basically look like a spiral going down. Originally, it was supposed to be like a checkerboard thing where it rotates 90 degrees each time. So it's like, black, white, black, white, black, white, black, white. But yeah, I ended up going for instead doing half turns. That way, when it lines up, it should look like a really cool spiral. Ooh, okay, so now that everything was, cut and all that, I spent some time marking the center. You'd think, like, the four squares would make a perfect center mark, but no, they do not at all. You gotta, like, grab them corners and line everything up, otherwise things go bad. So, yeah, I'm drilling a 6 millimeter hole, if I remember correctly, and then I'm gonna grab a 5 millimeter rod. You can see it in the far corner there, and I'm gonna stack them all onto that 5 millimeter rod. And then when everything's stacked up, I'm gonna glue it all
Wat?
together.
Die fucking donker donderdag. Jy het nie eers hierdie donderse dinge fucking plat gemaak nie.
Ek kan nie Afrikaans verstaan nie.
Yeah, so after doing all of that, that's good. Yeah, I'm in the corner there, lining everything up, getting it all ready for that stick. Alright, now I'm just flattening everything out, making it nice and flat. Grinding, it's getting flat, it's flattenizing. Super flat, yeah. And then, making sure that everything's in the right order because I don't want to, like, I want adjacent sides to be touching and flat with each other, so I'll do that as much as I can. Now that that's done, it's time for the glue up. This is where I show my stupidity because you see how everything's in frame? Well, not anymore. I'm gluing everything off camera. I thought I was in frame, but as it turns out, I was not. So that's great. I hope you enjoy the view of my hand. Full hand. Alright. Now that that's all glued up, I could grab a clamp, clamp, but then I found another clamp, and I clamped it on two sides. Now, it took about 4 or 5 hours, and then it was dry. Now I'm just cutting the corners, and you can already see a little bit of that pattern starting to like peek through. Yeah, it's pretty. At a certain point, I just started spinning my hands because it was like, I'm tired of cutting these corners. I might as well just like spin and slowly go in. So that's what I was doing. And like, look at that. I think that looks pretty cool. That was painful, by the way. I thought maybe if I like, hold the two ends and let it spin, that it could like, roll and that would like gently remove stuff. Didn't work. But look at that. Isn't that pretty? I think that looks really pretty. Now I just have to use this to make a handle of some kind, and I'm not exactly sure what kind of handle I'm gonna make with it.